coming to you from the wild, wild western side of San Antonio. I didn't blow your eardrums out this week either.
Not this
Not
week.
that time, no.
It was pretty rough last week.
Yeah, it was.
I forgot about it when I went to listen to the episode. Pretty strong. Wake you up in the morning. Smokin Gunz Podcast. My name is Philip Higginbotham. I am joined, as always, by R.C. Woods.
Hello.
There you go. And Leo Yamas,
What's up, Gunslingers posse?
who is the distant cousin to Lorenzo Lamas. We just found out.
Yes, but we don't talk about
We
him.
don't talk about that guy.
We don't like
And
him.
I'm related to Tiger Woods.
Outcast.
And you're related to Tiger Woods, and
Yes.
I'm related to Shawn Michaels.
That's right.
That's what we were talking about
It's
before.
our podcast. We can say what we want.
Right. If you wonder why we were talking before, we're talking with some fans before on Facebook Live. This is one of those episodes where we jumped on, so you're going to hear us chat back and forth with some Facebook Live folks. Keep your eyes open. It seems like almost every other week we're going to do this, sort of.
It's become more of a trend. Yeah.
I like it.
We certainly like doing this during this downtime because...
For sure.
I don't know if anybody remembers or not, but the Gunslingers
Who?
are a football team here in San Antonio, and the season is not over yet. It feels like it's over sometimes.
Does feel like it.
But it's not. Smokin Gunz Podcast is a podcast that deals with football, specifically football in the Texas area, specifically football in the San Antonio area, centered around the San Antonio Gunslingers of the American Arena League. The greatest thing that happened to San Antonio football ever.
Uh-huh.
The greatest thing happened to Texas arena football.
Texas arena. I'll give you arena football.
Yes.
But, I mean, the Cowboys are the greatest thing to happen to Texas football ever.
I'm leaving.
You can't even really deny that that's true.
Okay.
So
I mean,
what?
historically.
What is the opposite of a gunslinger? Would it be like shooting blanks? Like right now we're shooting blanks?
I don't know.
Because a gunslinger's shooting, right? Bang, bang.
Yeah.
And so what's the opposite of bang, bang?
I don't know. Shooting blanks means something entirely different, though, so we don't want to go there.
I'm not going there.
Well, I'm just saying we have a long break.
We do have a long break. It has been a long break. It's already been a couple of weeks since we played the North Texas Bulls there in the San Antonio Rose Palace, and it's still going to be a couple of more weeks
Aw.
before we get an opportunity to play the Mississippi Raiders coming down from Hattiesburg to spend some time with us. And we're going to talk about some of that. We're going to talk about some of the things that have happened in the AAL over the last week. North Texas and Austin got together last night. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole game because they had that game on Mother's Day.
It was Mother's Day.
That was kind of weird.
Yeah.
And
I heard the attendance was poor.
it's hard to tell. It's always hard to tell when you're watching on the Facebook feed or the YouTube feed is what they use. It's always hard to tell. You could be looking at the empty side.
Right.
I mean, they could
Like
have
at
the
the Rose
cameras.
Palace?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like at the Rose Palace. There's people set up on one side, and then there's a more empty side, and that
Sure.
happens to be the direction we shoot when we broadcast those games. So
Right.
it's really hard to tell. It looked like a lower attended. But the one thing that came out of that game, Leo, you're going to be so excited. The little bit I watched, I'm not sure I love the inflatable barrier so much anymore.
Oh,
Nice.
no. What happened?
I'm not saying I'm against it yet, because there are some things that I really love. For those of you that don't know, North Texas in the Fort Worth Convention Center has acquired, and we're not even really sure where it's come from because I've looked for it because I thought it was amazing for a while. This inflatable barrier, instead of dasher board walls that get set up that are plastic or
Right.
wood, these are that you set pads over. This is just an inflatable barrier that goes around the field. And I've really liked it. And there's a couple of things I really like about it. The ease of setup is amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
Well,
you
yeah,
set
you
it out, you drag it around the field, you set the fans on it, and you blow the sucker up, and you're done. So watching them go through what they go through to set up our dasher boards, I like the ease of setup on this way more.
It's almost like are they going to make it? Are they going to make it in time?
It feels like to me like the players are going into like a bouncy castle. Like they need to take off
yeah.
their shoes and their cleats before they go in there, so you can go jump around.
The other thing I really like about it is a safety thing.
I get that.
You're
yes.
not going to have players that are going to injure themselves going into the wall, which is a real possibility on any other wall structure, even with pads on it. It's a solid wall. The inflatable barriers are not. But I did, as I was watching just bits and pieces of the game yesterday, I did catch that, like, it's kind of annoying when the wall moves and they have to reset the wall and all that kind of stuff.
It's Put it this way. Would you be in favor of them swapping out the walls and the glass around a hockey rink with inflatable barriers?
Different deal, though.
It's not.
It is.
It's a physical sport played within that barrier.
You're right, but the walls are in
Like
play
protection.
in hockey all the time. Like they ram people into the walls all the time. We don't do that as much in arena football. The walls in hockey are part of the play, are in play.
So I would argue that the dasher boards are as well. I mean, just look at Sean Mueller's play at the end.
So,
And what
like-
made that so special, him catching that while going over the barrier.
That's true.
It's a part of the game.
One of the guys on one of the pages that we're on shared a picture of the game yesterday, a couple of pictures of the game, and each one of the pictures he shared, and I'm sure this was the point he was trying to make, although he didn't say what he was trying to do, were referees huddled up.
Oh God, yeah.
And my comment was the logo for the American Arena League should be a ref huddle.
That was funny.
It is true. It's true.
Because you see it all the time. And then I wake up this morning and some guy who his Facebook says he's the director of the AAL. I've never heard his name before. It's Tommy.
Oh, Tommy.
Defended it, and he's like, well, if there's two flags on the same play, they have to huddle up and decide it. I get that.
yeah.
Like, I didn't respond at all, but I'm like, that
we'll
doesn't
go
happen near as often
way
as the ref
beyond,
huddles
way
did.
beyond. It reminds me of that song. Was it Donna Summers that it goes meeting in the ladies' room?
I wouldn't know. I don't know a
gosh,
lot of Donna
somebody
Summers
back me
music.
up on this. Someone has to be my age. Meeting in the ladies' room? Anything? No. God.
If I had time at work today, I was going to mock up a logo that was a ref huddle
We still got time to do that.
and put it out there. Just maybe see if somebody wanted to do that.
But going back to the hockey, who has here seen a hockey game in person?
Oh, I have.
Yeah.
I love
both
hockey.
of you for here in San Antonio?
Yeah,
I've been
back
to
when
Rampage
the
games.
Iguanas,
Rampage?
the Rampage. Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I've only gone to the Blackhawks in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't really
You've only
experienced.
been to NHL hockey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it a big difference?
No, because it's a fast-paced, fun sport to watch. I love all sports. I mean, I've watched and been to most sports live and watched them on TV as well. The one that I think there is the best experience live is hockey. Like a live hockey
sure.
game is an
I
incredible
would agree with you on
experience. And I love football. I love baseball games.
Love the
I do
Cubbies.
not like going and watching golf live. I've done it, but I don't like it. I'd much rather sit in front of my TV with a beer and watch a golf match. If I'm going to watch golf, I'm going to watch it that way.
Sure.
But the one that is the neatest live to me is hockey. Mm-hmm. It's just an incredible sport to watch live, and you don't need the announcers. You don't realize how much you don't need the announcers until you watch it live, and you're like, "Wow, I don't need them at all." Unlike baseball. I was watching baseball this weekend, and I had my earbud in and watching it on my phone and watching my Rangers play. And I had my earbud in. I usually don't. I usually just watch it. And there was so much that they were adding to the game and my enjoyment of watching the game that I was like, why do I not listen to the announcers all the time in baseball? Because there's so much downtime. They have to share interesting
Right.
stories, tell you things about players, and I need that adds to the experience. Hockey,
That's
not
true.
the same. So back to Gunslingers football.
Okay.
Let's talk about football since that's what our podcast is about. And let's talk about
All
the
right.
Gunslingers football, or at least the AAL. So I'm coming around, Leo, to this whole inflatable dasher boards are maybe not the way to go. Although there are a couple of things I really like about it. Like I love.
I get it, but they're not for me.
I like our dashers.
Do
They
you?
make noise and they're fun, interactive.
I wish we went all the way around.
Yeah.
That's true.
Close out the end zones.
Yeah.
I wish we could
I would
do
love
that.
that.
We'd do that, but
I
maybe
think-
later.
Maybe next
I
year.
think we would have kept a touchdown out of North Texas' hand at the
Quite
end of the
possibly
game.
that
if there
would've-
had been a wall
it's
on
a
the
game
back of the field.
changer. A game changer if we had those pads over there.
It is what it is. So yeah, we're in the middle of this break. For those of you that don't realize, which if you're watching this or listening to this, you probably should. Tonight, May 10th, Monday, May 10th, should have been the day that we were welcoming the West Texas Buccaneers.
Right.
I know. I wanted to wave that.
And by
yellow flag.
welcoming in, I mean beating the ever-living crud out of
Oh my
the West
gosh.
Texas Buccaneers.
Yes.
This was the
I
game
agree.
that Leo and I were talking about taking the field.
Really?
Don't you remember?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's
we
right.
lost out on our shot to
did.
play
Oh,
professional
that's
football
We
right.
absolutely did.
because Coach Q,
You guys are going to try
Coach
out.
Q, Coach James Stolt. Remember the last time you were with us, Coach Q's with us right now. They actually extended the offer. Hey, we'll let you guys play,
Yeah. That wouldn't have gone well.
No.
I'm just going to tell you right now.
but it would have been something we could
Interesting.
check off our bucket list.
I would have cheered for y'all.
Thank you, RC.
You're welcome.
Right? So let's talk a little bit about the fact that West Texas isn't in and what that may mean for us. Here's the information I've gotten directly from the San Antonio Gunslingers, from
Okay.
the ownership.
This is the 411.
We, the San Antonio Gunslingers, are 5-1. You say,
Five-
wait a second, Philip. How are
Wait
we
a minute.
5-1?
How are
we
we?
were 4-1. Now we're 5-1.
Now-
4-1.
what
and
happened? We
now
didn't
we're
even play a
5-1.
game.
We
How is that
didn't-
possible?
We didn't play a game. We got a victory. We have been awarded a victory for the game, a forfeit victory is my understanding, for the game that should have taken place on the 1st in El Paso because their facility is not up to
Par.
So we've been awarded that victory.
Okay. I'll take it.
However, the game for tonight was technically canceled by the league.
Okay.
I haven't received a whole lot of clarification as to why that is, but the game was technically canceled by the league.
So we're 6-1.
So no, we will stay at 5-1, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Like 5-1 is good.
I don't want 2 freebies. You know what I mean?
Why not? The North Texas Bowl's got 2 freebies.
Well, I kind of feel like we
I mean, they
earned
did
it.
play one of them, but it was still a free game. It's about as free a game as you could have gotten.
Yeah, Coach Q confirms he was going to dress us out.
Were you?
Doesn't mean he was going to
What
play
number
us.
were you going to be? What number?
Right?
Number one?
Oh, no. Not number 1.
0?
Are you kidding?
2?
You know who number 1 is? That's Armand Lott. I can't take Armand
You can't be
Lott's
0
number.
because that's Sean.
Yeah, and Sean Mueller
Yeah.
is
And
0.
I don't think his jersey would fit you.
I would,
I think she just called me fat. I mean,
I
she's
did
right,
not. I did not.
but I think she just called me fat.
I just called you bigger than Sean.
I am bigger than Sean. That's not saying much, though. Sean's one of the smaller guys I know. Greg Nelson checking in says he can't join us. Have a great show.
no.
Greg.
Well, thanks for the well wishes, Greg. We know
Right?
you're going to listen.
You're going to listen later,
Yeah, later,
and
so-
you're gonna miss all the fun. Mm-hmm. Michael Wayne Davis, I wish the AAL played all of their league games on their YouTube channel. I am having to hunt for games.
That is a great suggestion.
If the AAL is listening, and at this
might
point
be.
they should be, because we're giving them lots of
We've
tips
got some
here.
hints that they do, or at least some people do. So
Yeah, we have reached a.
Are
we
there
have
any
had-
other podcasts out there besides us?
I thought that's why we were
don't know.
5-1. We got the win for having the best podcast. Or that
That's
is, we should be
true.
6-1.
Well, yeah, at that point we should be
Yeah.
6-1. It would be nice if they were able to cull all of that information on their website, maybe give a link out on their website or on their Facebook page. One of the things that the AAL could definitely improve on during the off season. Did I say that well? I said that well.
Yeah.
Just put a
Is-
link on the schedule.
Is getting information out. It is hard to find AAL information at times. You really have to search. What game was somebody was playing this week? It was Mississippi was playing Charlotte,
Yep.
and somebody said something about the game, and I'm like, where can you find that? It was a guy with his cell phone broadcasting the game, and it was on his private page.
Really?
So that is the only bit of that game I got to watch.
Well, that was that game in Mississippi?
Yes,
Because
And-
we know what the signal like is in that building.
Right. The
already.
signal in that building is terrible. It's impossible to try to live stream a game.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen one team do it, and that was Tampa? No. Georgia? No. Carolina? I don't know. Somebody went in there and was able to broadcast it just because they had the one carrier that kind of reaches there, and even they had some trouble.
Maybe they haven't heard of the word social media yet.
Michael Wayne Davis.
I don't know why he's saying that. Like,
Michael Wayne
what-
Davis
what-
has blasphemed in our comments. He says Austin has better breakfast tacos. If you mean than Dallas, you're
What?
right. If you mean better breakfast tacos than San Antonio, we have to have a discussion.
Well, I've had conversations with Michael where he absolutely agrees that we had the better breakfast tacos. So I'm not sure what he means
I
by
don't
this.
know what
statement.
that-
He'll clarify, I'm sure.
Yeah. And then and
Jeffrey.
Lamar Brooks jumps in and says, yes, they do. No, they do not. They do not. That's
I think-
blasphemy.
Jeffrey Carver's talking about the Chicago team.
Yeah, he's been posting a lot of information. Jeffrey Carver keeps track of lots and lots
He
of
does.
American Arena League and arena football information.
Yeah.
So I can't verify any of the information he's giving
Yeah.
you out there, but he follows it pretty closely. So if he says something, he's at least got an inkling that that's truth. But I can't verify that. And we've had that discussion before with Jeffrey, so he knows that that's how we're gonna go with that. He says Roku has the ability to watch AEL games. I guess they have a channel, it's a channel on Roku, right?
Could be.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't have a Roku.
I don't either.
I do
but
the Chromecast
I don't
thing.
either. So if someone does have it, maybe they can verify that.
So that makes us 5-1.
5-1.
And we will not rise to 6-1 after tonight. This won't count. At least that was the preliminary information I got, and that seems fair. Like at some point, you have to stop just awarding wins for a team that is
Right,
unable to
yeah,
make things.
no.
Like at some point, that's got to end. It stinks that it's ours because North
I
Texas
know.
gets a couple of wins out of that. Although they did play.
Most of the
Three
game.
quarters
played
of a
one
game.
yeah.
Right, they did. They did. I'll give them that.
So we're 5-1. The North Texas Bulls are
Now they're 4-1.
4-1.
Because they just beat Austin.
Yeah,
on
so
Saturday.
they're a half game behind us in the division, but plenty of time to make up. They've got some games. Do they have another one against the Wild? They played the Wild yesterday.
Right.
Do they have another one scheduled against the Wild?
I would think they play them twice. I think they do, but
I know they have an outside the conference game or outside the league game
That's cool.
coming up soon. Something that I think
We should have done that.
I think the Gunslingers really try to do that. They're just it's all dependent on what people have available on their schedule,
Okay.
and if they don't fit in where you need them to fit in, it just doesn't work. But my understanding is they did attempt to fill these
Seats.
dates with some time because they were originally supposed to have the
I'm
Buccaneers
itching
come
for
in,
some
and that didn't
football. I
happen.
really want to watch some football.
Well, we're going to get
We're right in the
football
run.
in 2 weeks
I
when
know, but it's a big, long gap.
it is. It's a long gap. It's a long time.
yes, they do play on May 23rd.
All right, so May 23rd, the night before we play the
Mississippi?
Mississippi Raiders.
The Raiders, when we will be 6-1,
That's right.
finally.
Nicholas Sykes checking in said they didn't beat us ourselves, and the refs beat us. I think is he
Nicholas Sykes is saying that
with Austin, right? Is he checking in with Austin?
Yeah, who do you play for, Nicholas? If you don't mind us asking, we just want to take in context your statement, so we know which game you're referencing. We can certainly understand how a lot of these games lately, team players would feel that the refs had a part in the L that they're
Yes.
taking
He
for
says-
sure. We
He
get
says
that.
he's in. He's in Austin.
Austin, yes.
I'll tell you, I watched most of the first half of that game, and I did notice that an awful lot of calls went North Texas' way, like a lot of calls. It seemed like every time there was a flag on the field, it was to the benefit of North Texas. Now, I wasn't watching closely enough to tell you that they were accurate or inaccurate calls. I can't tell you that. I did note as I was watching that, geez, it seems like every time there's a flag, it hurts Austin. I did notice that.
Right,
I
right.
did pick that up.
Welcome, Nicholas, by the way. Thanks for joining us. He's one of the owners of the
Okay.
Austin Wild. So
Hi.
thanks for joining us.
Very nice. They've got another game coming up. You said the 23rd. So the day
Yes.
before we play Mississippi here, they play Austin. North Texas also has an outside the league game between now and then. So they've got time to catch up. And actually, if they win both of those games before we're able to play Mississippi, they would jump ahead of us by a half game because that would make them 6-1.
That's not going to happen.
Right.
So it could.
It could.
Absolutely could happen.
No, it could. They're a good team, but we'll see.
Austin will have something to say about that, I'm sure. And we know Austin is tough.
I was
That we do know.
surprised to see the final score of the Austin game because Austin has showed us here in San Antonio that they battle all the way through the
sure.
game. And I really thought with a 3-possession lead when I saw it in the third quarter at one point that Austin would make one more run at it. It doesn't seem like they did. I haven't been able to go back and watch the back half of that game. Todd Mintz, let's see what he has to say. Came in late, tried to get on live when it started. But if the Gunslingers finish 5-2 and say second behind North Texas, will these missed games cost you to be awarded a wild card? We honestly, Todd, have no idea what the playoff picture looks like, and that is a deficiency as far as I'm concerned in the AAL. They need to be much clearer with the fans and with the franchises about how they're going to determine playoff spots. And I've heard you kind of beat the drum and say this is not a new thing for them. It sure would be nice if anybody out there in the AAL office listens that you communicate much more clearly of what your playoff procedures are, because we've got fans asking. Obviously, players and coaches want to know, and even ownership is asking those questions, my understanding, to the league, and getting not full responses.
Right. And part of those discussions, as I understand it, has to do with travel and how that's difficult in the situation that we're in right now.
Yep.
Just nationwide. Also, judging from Todd's statement, one thing you might have missed, Todd, was that the Gunslingers were officially awarded one win for the forfeited game against West Texas.
That should have happened
in El Paso. So they are now 5-1.
The Gunslingers are 5-1, which means if they were to win out, which is by no means given, they would finish at 7-1. At that point, eight games in the league. Even if they lost that game and we finished at 6-2, I think they could make a case for the wild card spot. But again, we don't know how they determine that.
True.
And I know that Todd has said a couple of times, you need to find out or you need to be sure, because it has been sketchy in the past as far as the American Arena League is concerned.
Why not? Coach Q said he's 4-0.
He is 4-0.
That's right.
Yeah, so. Q&O, I like to call him.
He's 5-0.
Yeah.
He's just going to continue being
Q&O. Technically, he's 5-0.
Wow.
The one game we lost was not while Coach Q was helming the team. Well, let's do this. Let's take a break real quick. When we come back, I want to get somebody on the phone line. We're going to try to reach out to the general manager of the Gunslingers and see if we can have a conversation with him. And I also want to talk specifically about some Gunslingers players. Okay. Because we've got some time here in the middle of the season to stop down and talk about Gunslingers players specifically. So we're going to talk about some of those guys. So stick with us. Smokin Gunz Podcast. We'll be right back right after this. Smokin Gunz Podcast is brought to you in part by JD's Bar and Grill. They are our studio sponsor wherever we go. We have a mobile studio that travels with us. We've got our microphones. We've got our mixer. We've got our studio that we can toss in the back of Leo's car, and we can have that available wherever we go. And JD's Bar and Grill is the one that brings that to you. JD's Bar and Grill is at 2000 Southeast Loop 410, Suite 101, but you're not going to remember any of those
numbers.
Exit. It's the Rigsby exit. And it is right across the parking lot from Security Services Federal Credit Union.
Yep.
Go out there. They got drink specials. They've got food. They've got a great little place to sit and watch any of the Major League Baseball that you're just itching to watch.
Lots of TVs.
I mean, you can sit in your house and watch Major League Baseball, but it's a lot more fun to go up to the bar and watch the game with somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, let's be fair. We got NBA playoffs, the play-in coming in soon, and we've got hockey playoffs coming up, but that doesn't matter. The Stars aren't in it, so nobody cares.
Nobody in Texas cares.
Yeah, nobody's going to care. They got eliminated. Played for the Stanley Cup last year, and they got eliminated before the playoffs even started.
Wow. That happens more than you'd think.
Awful. Yeah. Get over to JD's Bar and Grill. They've got plenty of drink specials, food. They have live music on the weekends.
Yep. Darts, pool tables.
Lots of stuff going on, and they are a proud sponsor of the Smokin Gunz podcast. When you go in, make sure you mention the Gunslingers so that they know why you're there.
Yeah. How
you found out about them. And go give them a try. Maybe we'll see you out there. That's really close to my house, actually. It's the closest thing in San Antonio to my house. Right there on 410. Because I come in on 87 from Lavernia.
So you pass by there every day?
Every day. Every time I come into town, I pass by JD's Bar and Grill. It says JD's Sports Bar on their big banner. Right outside that faces 410. Go give them a try. Yep. Rigsby Exit, JD Sports Bar, or JD's Bar and Grill.
Yep. Really a great place, guys.
You can also follow them online on Facebook and see all of the things going on there. Speaking of our sponsors that we love, Teardrop Pepper Company.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. We just had some a few minutes ago.
We did. We were putting on some tamales that we had.
Some tamales. God,
pizza. What do you call those things?
Pizza rolls.
Pizza rolls. Yeah.
Pizza rolls.
Goes great with the pizza rolls.
Totino's.
I tried it with the peanut butter, Jonas.
How'd that work?
Oh, man. It was surprisingly good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yet another thing, you can put that golden habanero on with some your peanut butter toast.
It's so good. They've got the golden habanero. They've got the Supreme Serrano. They've got another one in the works. In the wings, just waiting.
Gonna be caliente.
You need to go to teardroppepperco.com because you can't find it in the stores right now.
Right.
You got to order it online from teardroppepperco.com. We've got a special offer code for you. Use the code ARENA, ARENA, and save 10% on your order. Get some. Like, if you haven't gotten some up to this point, you don't know what you're doing. They've been out to Gunslingers games. They are a sponsor of the San Antonio Gunslingers.
Yep.
They are sponsoring the things you love. Give them some of your money. You're not going to be upset with the product that you get back.
Oh, no.
It's really, really good. TeardropPepperCo.com, or you can follow them on all of the social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Teardrop Pepper Co., Teardrop Pepper Company. Put that stuff on everything, and they'll make some more.
Yep.
Smokin Gunz Podcast, Philip Higginbotham, R.C. Woods, Leo Yamas, or whatever you call us. We had a whole conversation about what you call all of us. We are hanging out, and we've got a special guest on the phone. It is Jonathan Young. He is the GM of the San Antonio Gunslingers. Jonathan, how you doing tonight?
Yay!
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Anytime. Like, I think we've extended the invitation to you guys. Anytime you want to come on. Some of you use that invitation all the time.
Or way too much.
Jason, I'm looking at you. Not way too much. We love having Jason on.
Yeah.
Jason was using it to get free food.
Yes, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, he was.
That's why we come over here. You know that.
It's nice over here.
It is.
Leo and Dolores take care of us.
Definitely.
Very well. So you guys had some tryouts last Wednesday. You tried out for 3 or 4 positions. I think you did fullback, offensive line, linebacker, and quarterback. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
3 positions, yes.
Okay.
So we had the running back position that was open, offensive line, and then quarterback.
Okay.
When you say it's positions are open, meaning what? You're just missing, or you want to back up? What does that mean? Can you explain that?
Just further evaluating. We're always looking for good talent at certain key spots on the team. Offensive line definitely is a key position. We have 3 anchors on our offensive line, but we're always looking to add depth at that position. Quarterback, always good to have some good friendly competition at the quarterback position.
Mm-hmm.
And then running back, fullback, however you may have it. is also a good spot to have a couple of bodies that are more than able to be productive.
So let me start there at running back, and let me ask why. To me, it feels like we are overloaded a little bit in that position. And what I mean by that is you can't start everybody we have at that position. They all bring something different with Isaiah, with Callaway, with Chris Bustamante. Like, all three of them are very different players, very different runners, and you can't start all three because we just don't have the room on the active roster. So I find it interesting that you're looking for more at that level when you already have kind of a
good talent,
a glut there.
You know, those guys are all good players. They all bring something different, kind of like what you said. They all bring something different. But it's just really healthy competition. That's all it really is. Gotcha. I wouldn't say that there's like a definite need for the position, but finding some talent in San Antonio isn't hard.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well, my question would be, just because I don't know that much about football, but isn't it kind of late in the season to have tryouts for only 2 more games that are left?
Oh, we're going to make a playoff push. You heard that here first. We're making the playoffs.
Oh, okay. Right. All right, then.
That's what we like to hear.
Good answer. 10 points.
So, like other teams in the league, like we know North Texas Bulls, they hold regular playoffs, and as a matter of fact, or regular tryouts, sorry. And as a matter of fact, they had a guy who just joined the team return a pick 6 in the game that Tyrone sent us the play, and wanted to make sure that everybody saw that because it was an impressive play by the player.
I did get a chance to watch that game. Great play on the ball. Great return. So teams around the league are adding players. It's never too late to add players.
Okay.
And then you have to notice that the good teams are always adding players.
Yeah.
So
right.
North Texas is definitely a good team, and we're all doing the same thing, trying to position ourselves well into the playoffs so we can make a push and bring a championship back to Texas.
Got it.
So let's talk a little bit about that night. What kind of talent did you guys? How many guys showed up? I'm really curious as to how many.
21. I had a count of 21.
Wow.
I might have been one short. 21, 22 for sure. But I know for a fact it was 21.
That's a pretty good turnout. That's a whole
pretty
roster by itself.
It sure is.
That's a game day roster full of guys. And at the end of the night, I mean, obviously all 21 are not going to be the kind of guys that you're willing to bring on. But did you have some talent there that you're willing to continue to take a look at, that you've signed to practice with you guys and maybe make a game day roster here in these final couple of regular season games?
I would say between myself and Coach Q, some guys, reality came quicker than later for them with what we were looking for and their athletic ability. But overall, it was a very good showing. We did have some guys that did get invited back to the following day practice.
Oh, nice.
That on the practice squad, just to get another look and to further evaluate talent. So that was good. That was good. Key positions, of course, we had, I want to say it was like 6 guys. So 6 out of the 21 made it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's
a couple of linemen, a quarterback, and I want to say three running backs. But I will say, we ran a lot of not to speak too much on what happened, but we did do a lot of volume with pass catching, because I think that's definitely a key thing to have in the backfield, is the ability to. And I will say, out of the guys that tried out, they definitely held their own with catching the ball out of the backfield, catching it out in space, and coming down with some pretty amazing catches. I'll say our wide receiver unit was very amped up. One thing I can say about our guys is that they always love to compete. And when they see guys get out there and really turn it up, they want to step their game up too.
Right.
So that was great to see.
Well,
they definitely got the guys that did try out did get the respect from the players.
Good.
And the fullback position in this level of football and in indoor football really is, I almost attribute it more to a linebacker kind of mentality, because you have to be willing to do everything that can happen. Linebackers in 11-man football specifically have to be ready for anything to happen on a play. Run play, pass play, a play action or a fake. Like, they have to be the smartest guys on the field. A lot of times are linebackers, because they have to see everything happen and decode so much of what they're seeing at one time. Fullback in the arena game is almost the same, because you're going to have to pick up a block. You're going to have to go out into a pattern. You're going to have to pay attention to your quarterback and see if on that RPO he's going to hand the ball to you or he's going to pull it back. You have to see so many things going on and decode so much at one time to be effective at that position in the arena game that there's a lot going on there. There's a big need for guys who really have high football IQ, don't you think?
Definitely. You have to have your head on a swivel, be ready to pick up a block, be ready to get your bell rung by picking up that block, and also be able to hold on to the ball when you run the ball.
Right.
I can say that, fumbles haven't been an issue for us out of the backfield. I'd like to say that goes to the testament of our guys being very skilled and strong at the position. You brought up Chris Bustamante, which is a smaller back, but he's strong and physical. We have Lee Calloway, also another physical running back.
Guy's a Mack truck.
Can tote the rock around, and he can play multiple positions, which is always a blessing when it comes to arena. And then Isaiah White, and people think of him just as a running back, but he's a hell of a receiver as well. So we love to have guys that can do it all. Chris Bustamante can play receiver as well. Right. All the positions on the receiving side. So those two guys can do it all. The guys that came in, there's some pretty thick players. So with pads on, they look even bigger, obviously.
Nice.
But it's going to look good. Practice is definitely going to be heated coming up this week, because we're going to have to make some decisions in these next couple of weeks with our little layover that we have on our season.
So we've talked about the running back position. I think anybody that knows anything about football says if you're going to try out and add depth at anywhere in your team, the offensive line is where you always add depth, period. If you can get more offensive linemen, you get them.
Yeah.
Because that is such an important position.
Definitely.
Now let's talk about the third position that you were looking for, because I want to stop down at that position for a second. I told Leo we were going to talk about this today, and it seems like a great time to have the general manager on and talk about this topic. Let's talk about quarterback play, because I said something last week and ruffled a feather or two.
On the show you're talking about, you said on the show.
Yeah, I said something on the show last week and ruffled a feather or two. Not super upset. I didn't upset somebody so bad they came after me or anything.
Thank God.
But I want to go back and revisit, because we started talking a little bit about quarterback play, and I mentioned that David Olvera has been serviceable. And Leo, as we had some discussion through the week, came back to me and said, serviceable has a bit of a negative connotation to it. So I wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
I wanted to clarify.
I think when you mention the word serviceable, a lot of connotation comes with that. When you think of serviceable, you think of game manager, or just relying on the defense and stuff like that.
Right.
So I definitely get Leo's point at that.
I thought of something totally different, but it had nothing to do with football.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
then we want to talk about it.
We'll move on from that.
So,
Yes.
tell me what you mean by that.
So
Leo.
I know what you meant by serviceable, and I'll give you I won't put words into your mouth, so I'll let you explain what you meant by that. But as I kind of said to you, and as Jonathan is touching on, to me, the connotation with that description of a quarterback means they're good enough to get the job done, so long as you don't have to rely on them to make the play that you need to win the game. And that's something that I could understand a quarterback not wanting to hear.
Sure.
Describing their level of play.
Their skill that way.
Yeah.
So let me clarify. I've watched a lot of American Arena League football. I've watched most all of anything that's happened in Texas, and then I've watched some outside of Texas. I've seen most of the quarterbacks that play on this level. He is probably the second best quarterback in the league if I were to put him on some of the guys that they're running out there for some of these teams, certainly the West Texas and some of these guys, Tampa and some of the they're doing what they can.
Not up to par.
I don't think he's better than Robert Kent Jr., but Robert Kent Jr. has been playing professional football almost as long as David's been alive.
Saying someone is not as good as Robert Kent Jr. is not an insult for sure.
But I believe that David is right behind Robert as far as in the league. So it is not. I'm not trying to knock David. However, I'll be really, really honest. There are times where I want to see David do different things than he does. Specifically, I want to see him get out of the pocket and run a couple of times early in every game. Maybe even if he doesn't need to, just to keep the defensive line and the linebackers on their heels a little bit so that they know that that's a possibility. Right now, he drops back in the pocket. He stays in the pocket and behind the line of scrimmage looking for the pass. And that's the guy he wants to be, and I get that. But that means they can come full bore at him because they're not worried about him escaping beyond them and getting positive yardage. Am I wrong here, Jonathan?
I definitely get what you're saying. You want David to show his athletic ability to keep the defense honest, and those are things that can be worked on. David does have a little bit of wiggle to him. I'm not saying he's the most elusive guy on our roster, but he's definitely not a statue back there.
No, he's got the athleticism that he could do something, and we haven't seen that.
Definitely. And those are little wrinkles to the game that can still be worked on as we get closer and closer to playoffs. Some things to keep teams, maybe he's doing things to keep teams at bay. But those are definitely things that he knows he needs to work on, and I'm pretty sure he is working on putting in the work and staying as agile as possible, getting treatment. But to your example, there were some plays, or there have been plays where you would wish that he would have made a run or rolled out. He was looking down the field, he just didn't move as quickly as we would have wanted him to. But those are things that he can work on. Film helps with those. I'm pretty sure he watches the game and he dissects it with the coaches. The coaches have dissected it and told him what they see. But the beauty of it is that our players are on the field playing, our coaches are on the side coaching. So he might see something different or feel something different. But that's to be seen later on in our next couple of games, especially against Mississippi.
Yeah. So I'll say this to David. I'm sorry. Let me wrap this up and then I'll say this to David because I know he listens. The next time we're in the Palace there on the 24th, early in the game, you get an opportunity to get some daylight and you get your legs under you and you get out there and you go and you get 5, 6, 7 yards or you get a first down. Go ahead and look up at the booth at me, bang your chest a little bit. I'm going to bang my chest right back at you. I would love to see that happen. I want to see that because I think that it opens up your ability on the field even more. If they see that you have the athleticism to get around them and hurt them that way, they're going to be on their heels just a little bit for the rest of the game, and that may be all you need is just that little bit of extra time. So if that's what it takes, let's do that. If I'm the guy that you're, because I know, I don't think David likes me very much. I called him Brad Johnson early in the season. Now I say he's serviceable. Like, I have a feeling David doesn't like me very much. I like David very much. I think he is a good, solid, hardworking guy, and he does his job. And so serviceable may not have been fair, but there are things that I'd love to see him do, and one of those is use that athleticism and make teams pay for coming after you full bore. Because right now what they're seeing is we can run after this guy and we can either get him back in the pocket or we can chase him back further and cause even bigger problems.
So I'll say two things.
I think what Philip, you just did. I'll go ahead. Go ahead, Leo. I'm sorry.
No. I'll let you finish your thought, and then I'll say my piece. Go ahead, Jonathan.
I think Philip, if anything, and I know David's listening to this, watching actively. You definitely lit a fire. You lit a fire under him, which is a good thing. With you calling him, Brad Johnson or serviceable.
Brad Johnson is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. That's not a bad thing, but
he is a champion, and I know if there's anyone who can bring a championship to the team, it's definitely David. I believe in his abilities, and I know he's going to correct some of the things.
Yeah.
We have ups and downs during the season. And at the very end of the day, we're 5-1. We're in a good spot. We know we got some games that we got to win. But our depth at quarterback isn't something to close your eyes at. And David knows that. David knows that he has to come in every day and improve. He has guys that are right behind him in the Armand lot. He also has Nico Thomas that can also play quarterback, that was actually brought in to play quarterback. A lot of people don't know that, or they may have forgotten that he was brought in to play quarterback. But David was hot. We had another quarterback that was here that came in that was hot. But Nico can definitely play the quarterback position. Armand Lott is more than capable of playing the quarterback position, and David knows that. David knows that he has to get better, and that it's just not him back there where he doesn't have to look over his shoulder and make sure that he's doing the right thing. So, our stable is good. And we also picked up another kid that can sling it just like those other three guys that I just mentioned from the tryouts. So
Nice.
He can definitely get out of Dodge the way Philip would love to see David do. And each of the quarterbacks, they all bring something different to the offense. And you never know what can happen. It's definitely David's job to keep, and we'll see what happens. The guys are getting better in practice, and we'll just go from there.
So the thing I was going to say, I wanted to kind of touch on what Todd Mintz said earlier, where he's giving David his props, saying he makes plays when he has to. He's mentally tough, which David described himself. Resilient was the word that he'd use,
and I would absolutely say that's accurate.
Absolutely, he's resilient. But I really like where he goes on to say he's a lunch pail, he's a lunch pail guy, like this whole team is. And it's why all of them are falling in love with the team so much, which I will 100% agree with that. This is that lunch pail, get to work, roll up your sleeves kind of team. Really tough. And, I said it multiple times. They've been battle tested throughout this season, and they kind of have seen so many different situations in such a short time that, things don't get this team kind of ruffled. They kind of just, get back to work after whatever happens that play, they're right back to work the next play. And we definitely see that about this team. That being said, Jonathan, this was kind of to you have your work, you have your team of lunch pail guys rolling up their sleeves, getting to work. I don't think anyone would argue that the guys that are kind of your biggest performers, the guys that are not pulling the weight, but the guys that are really the guys you lean on to when the going gets tough, these are the guys that kind of just lead the way through, has been that defense over the offense. The defense has been phenomenal throughout the season, really. Take away that first game where they had some kinks to work out. And I think part of that is just kind of some people watching this, knowing the talent, the amount of talent that we have on the offense, and just kind of waiting to see that double-sided sword, that full performance where the defense dominates, the offense dominates, and it's kind of like that, wanting to see that complete game being pulled together, which I don't think we've quite seen yet. And I kind of want to get as a general manager, get your take on that and what your expectation is.
Expectation is kind of just what you said. You hit it right on the nail. To fly on all cylinders, offensively, defensively, and on special teams. Those are things that we need to definitely work on, and that we are working on. Offense definitely has to give their kudos to our defense. They've been stellar in performances. I told Coach James earlier, if he held North Texas under a certain amount of points, that he could beat his chest like an untamed gorilla, and that was his thing. So he definitely did that. But what I would like to see is, like any other fan would like to see, we all want to see the 50-point games at the Palace. And I think that's what our fans deserve, and we're definitely working hard to make sure that our offensive scheme and the plays are being called, and then David has to go out there and execute those plays, and guys got to go out there and help David execute those plays. Our defense has been phenomenal, tops in the league, and I honestly think we have the best defense in the league, hands down. I think a lot of teams that have played around the AAL have had the benefit of playing, what I would look at a cakewalk of a schedule. I don't think they've really played anybody. I think the best talent is definitely in the state of Texas, and I definitely believe in our talent. So that game last week or a couple of weeks ago against North Texas, David led a game-winning drive, and I don't think that people. I don't want people to forget that. Yeah. That he led them to a comeback drive, and he put it all together. And if we can continue to get him to have that fire that he had in that last minute, I think 25 seconds or last minute and 15 seconds, and match that with our defense playing the way they've been playing, we're going to put a lot of people on notice. And I think our competitors, and I think other teams in the AL, they know that. And I don't think it's a question. It's just a question of when it's going to happen. And I definitely believe it will happen in the Mississippi game on the 24th of May, which we're hoping is going to be a packed house so everybody can see exactly what I'm thinking is going to happen.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about, you guys have a promotion that's running now. Unfortunately, I think it'll run out before this podcast hits, before we edit and put out the podcast on Wednesday morning. But right now, for those that are on Facebook Live, tell us about your promotions that you got running for tickets, because you got a couple of them, I think, out there, don't you?
Yes. So we do have a treat for all of our active military patrons in San Antonio. We are doing our military appreciation night on May 24th. All active military will get in to our game for a discounted rate of $5.
That's great.
So that's going to be something special. We're also working on having a small performance with a local youth dance team that will also be in attendance.
Nice.
And we're also trying to field some local high school talent for ROTC to bring those kiddos up and try to do the flag guard. So
awesome.
We definitely have some things that we have in store. We're hoping that the community, the city of San Antonio jumps in and joins us on May 24th, and it's definitely going to be a treat. We want to thank all of our fans for sticking with us through this year. It's been a great season, great first season. The only blemish that we have on our season is that first game that kind of got away from us. But I think we've accepted that challenge, and we've corrected some things definitely along the way. And we definitely took care of our business when we did play North Texas that second time. And now we just need to execute and run at full cylinder. May 24th, starting that, and we're, like I told the guys, we're 0-0, and we need to go 2-0 to finish out the season. So we're definitely putting our heads down and putting on our hats and our hard hats, and our defense is going to bring it. Our offense is going to bring it, and special teams is definitely going to bring it. I definitely want to see another kick return for a touchdown. No one's been able to repeat what Michael Williams has been able to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Shout out to that guy. He's a stud. Hopefully we can see Kali Rashad return one. We got Jaleel Ali. I always mess with him at practice. Jaleel, good dude, has a mouth. I love it. He's always challenging guys. He's never seen a receiver that he can't go up against, no matter what size they are. And you have to love that dog mentality and Ali. So I love our team. We're doing great. We're led by some great captains, studs on defense, studs on offense. If the city can make one game, if you missed all the games and you want to come to one to figure out, what this arena football is like, what the San Antonio Gunslingers stand for, May 24th is definitely the game that you want to come out and see, because that's going to be a testament to where we are in the season and all the hard work that we put in practices, the camps, everything. It's all going to come together on May 24th.
Awesome.
Perfect.
So excited.
And I know, fans love to see 60 and 50 and 60 point games. That's all great. But if y'all can deliver another nail biter right down to the end that ends in a 1 point game, we'll take that too.
Yeah,
Well, for
absolutely.
sure.
That was a
Take
lot
it.
of fun.
Now, when you mentioned the 6 guys who you kind of were looking at the tryouts, were they from San Antonio? Were they from the surrounding areas or outside of Texas?
They were from San Antonio.
Oh, good.
San Antonio has great talent when it comes to football. I think that's sometimes overlooked. Obviously, with Houston and Dallas and Austin at the high school levels, those are always going to be great cities with talent. But San Antonio, I've been following guys. I've been in San Antonio for the last 16 years, so I've went to quite a few high school football games, and there's definitely some good talent out here in San Antonio. A lot of guys get overlooked, but there are a lot of diamond in the roughs, and we have plenty of them on our team. We can't be slept on. We won't be slept on. We're going to demand our respect, and I think we earn some respect. I follow the social media pretty closely. I don't really comment on much, but I see it, and I'm pretty sure our guys see it. The disrespect from some of the players, a lot of front running. But at the end of the day, I think they know it and they felt it.
All right, sir.
Actually, I heard them talking about it.
All right, sir. Well, we're going to wrap things up there for this segment. We're going to take a break real quick. When we come back, we're going to wrap up the whole show. We got one more segment left to go. Thanks for hopping on,
Yeah,
Jonathan.
thanks, Jonathan.
Oh, thanks for having me.
The phone line is always open for you guys.
See you on Thursday.
All right. I hope our serviceable quarterback heard that.
I'm sure he did. We're going to keep
have a good one, guys. Thank you.
All right,
You
we'll
too.
take a break right there. We'll be right back with you. Smokin Gunz Podcast. Smokin Gunz Podcast is excited to offer you an opportunity to be a part of our team.
Yeah.
We have team
Posse.
the posse, the folks that help us make this show go. If you're able, you can go to www.patreon.com/SmokinGunzPod. That's Smokin' no G, Guns with a Z, POD. And you can subscribe at the $5, the $10, or the $20 level and just help us make this show go. We will call you out at the end of every show. We will get information to you, ahead of anyone else when news breaks, like, I don't know, playoff scenarios
Yeah.
finally get confirmed, the first people we're going to tell about those things is our patrons.
Right.
Because they've earned the right to get that information first. They're part of our team.
And we tend to get information before the general public does.
We do.
So
Usually not long before the general public does, but we do get it first. So if you want to be part of that group that gets that information before anybody else does, then go on to patreon.com/SmokinGunzPod and just help us make the show go. It really helps out. We love our patrons, all of them.
We do.
We're going to shout them out here at the end of the show. We'd love to have you be part of our team. Smokin Gunz Podcast, Philip Higginbotham, RC Woods, Leo Yama, sitting around talking about that conversation that we just had with El Jefe, as he goes by on Facebook.
Yes.
That's right.
Jonathan Young.
The boss.
Jonathan Young, the boss, the general manager, lots of good stuff. Interesting to hear what he said about tryouts specifically on the running back side of things, because that was a question I had almost immediately. It's like, do we really need more on the running back side of things?
And his answer was yes.
His answer was yeah. You can always use more. I obviously understand the offensive line thing. You always need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can never
offensive
have
line.
enough good
Never
offensive
have
Big
linemen.
guys.
And then we talked a lot about quarterback, and we've talked a lot about quarterback off
On and off.
line, and it is what it is.
We're set at quarterback as far as starter, but you
For sure.
don't ever want to have and we have backup quarterbacks, but they play other positions.
Sure. Right.
We want to have a backup quarterback. I mean, we obviously that's why we're looking in case something were, God forbid, to happen to David where he's not able to finish a game or play a game, go down with an injury. We have to put someone under center. Yeah. And you don't want to take away from another position to do that. That's what we'd have to do now in an emergency.
Right.
So, yeah.
So we've talked about all of that, and we're going to talk more with our folks that are checking in on Facebook Live and some of their comments. But we've still got 2 weeks from tonight before we get back in the Palace and play a game.
What should we do with all that time?
I don't know, but
Let's drink. Let's have a tailgate somewhere.
We need to put together. In fact, we've kind of danced around.
Dance?
Well, not that way.
Okay.
We kind of danced around
Party
having
pooper.
another opportunity to get to everybody together at JD's Bar and Grill.
That's right. I really want to.
And we want to do that. We're just looking for the right date and the right time. Mm-hmm. Some folks have said, why don't you do it on a weekend?
Yeah.
You're a big fan of trying to do something on the weekend, Leo.
Yes.
I like weekends.
And you too? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm the odd man out. No.
No.
Weekends are fine. We've just got to find some time on the weekend to get everybody out to JD's Bar and Grill. But you got to come out.
That's true.
You got to come out and spend some time with us at JD's. When we finalize something and set something up, we will let everybody know on our Facebook page.
Right.
We also know that the team is working on some things, but that's not finalized yet.
Right.
So they're working on that and should have that out soon.
What?
I just got word
You
via
got word?
Facebook
What?
that may not work out. That they were working on an event this weekend, and it looks like the venue might not be available. So they will retool and maybe
Party
try
at
to find party at JD's. Sure.
Party at Phillips.
Oh, yeah. I see your comment from Alba. So what they were trying to
Yeah.
work out was at Alamo Beer, and it wasn't going to work out for Alamo. So
Oh, okay.
Right. Michael Wayne Davis says, will the Gunslingers still play in the AAL next year, or will we go to another league? As far as I know, we're an American Arena League team.
That's right.
yes.
And that's all that can be said about that.
And we know what you know.
So, yeah.
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 We don't know anything different.
Okay. Well, now she's saying maybe the 22nd, which is not this Saturday, but the following Saturday.
Saturday, the 22nd.
So be on the lookout for that, because it sounds like they're working on something there.
Yeah. So that's a Saturday. So I'm assuming that would be an evening time, Alba, if you know, or earlier during the day. I'm not sure. But, yeah, we'll be on the lookout for those details. Yeah.
James Stelt says, what do I miss? A lot, man.
lot.
Oh,
my
man,
God.
James. Thanks for joining us, by the way. I love when
Yeah,
James
thank you.
joins us. Yeah, he tends to do
Always
this every
great.
time we do this.
We've been talking some about your defense and lauding praise on the defense.
No, we were talking smack about your defense this
Your
whole time.
ears were probably burning.
yeah. That's why he joined us. His ears were burning.
That's right.
So the Raiders are coming in
Yes,
on the
they are.
24th, and hopefully we'll have a chance to all get together before then.
I hope so.
But if we don't, we got to make this huge. Like the 24th has to be
Epic.
huge.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Simply because it's the last opportunity that we know for sure
It's a home game.
that we will have the Gunslingers here in San Antonio.
Yes.
Final game of the season, final game of the regular season is in Fort Worth, which all of you need to drive up to and be there. Look, I watched part of that game yesterday, and unless about 1,000 people showed up at halftime, they don't have a lot of, like, we could absolutely have a group go up there and
For
outnumber
sure.
the North Texas Bulls fans.
And bring
in their
your
house.
yellow towels, especially on the 24th.
Do I? Oh, yeah, bring the yellow
it.
towels.
Yeah.
Sorry he came in late. Forgot about tonight.
Who did?
Oh, James
James.
Stoltz is saying he forgot about tonight, and I think he means when he says he would poop bricks if we were like talking bad about his defense.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
We wouldn't do that to you, James.
No, we were big fans of the defense and the defensive guys and the defense you guys have put together, for sure. Although, yeah. Although the last person I said I was a big fan of thinks I hate them, so it's not the case. When the Raiders come in, we got to get. So you heard Jonathan say that they are offering a promotion to military.
$5
Yes.
tickets.
But unfortunately, if you're listening to this on the podcast, you've missed
You
that.
missed it, yeah. If you're watching live,
If
still
you're watching
got time.
live, you
Tell
got time.
everyone you
Friends.
know, guys. You guys on
Tell
Facebook.
a friend. Tell a friend.
everyone.
We all have someone who's
$5
military.
to get to the
Right.
game.
Yeah.
This is San Antonio. You know somebody in the military.
You know, like 5 or 10, really.
And it's $5 anywhere you want to be in the game. I'm assuming because the $10 special was anywhere. Dasher board didn't matter, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
And so those promotions are going on.
oh, what was that?
Oof,
That was my phone.
That was
It's okay.
Oh, no.
Leo's phone. Get your tickets because this is the last opportunity you're going to have for a while. Like the season doesn't start until next March.
Right. The kids are probably out of school on the 28th, so that's like that Monday before the end of the week. So they can
That is
stay
the
up
last
late.
week of school.
They can stay up late. What are they going to learn that one day? Come on, bring them in. Bring them. Stay up late. Tailgate.
All they do is eat cake and like play around
they
that
don't do
last
anything.
day.
They don't do anything
They
at
don't do
school
anything.
that
That last
day
week
anyway.
is like, never mind. Yeah. No learning here.
Thanks for joining us, Coach Q. Coach Q is checking out on Facebook. We
See you,
appreciate
dude.
you, as always, for being with us.
Thank you.
So we need the Dasher area packed. You're right, Alba. We need the whole place packed. Like we need
Pack
the
the
whole
palace.
palace packed.
Yeah. Pack the palace.
Pack the palace.
That was
We
the
were pushing.
hashtag?
Yeah.
Well, we were pushing for 3,000 at the beginning of the season, and we still
Let's
haven't
get it.
gotten
Oh,
there. Let's
yeah, we
get
This
should.
is
that.
our
it.
last chance to get that 3,000 in the Rose Palace.
Uh-huh.
Todd Mintz says, how many does Rose Palace hold? I think it was 4,500.
Right? Yeah, that's
So we could
the
easily
number.
do 3,000.
But we need to get 3,000. Like that's our next
That's our
thing.
goal. That's our goal.
So get your tickets, get your friends in, get anybody you want, anybody who loves football. This is the last opportunity to get them in and get them at the game. And let's blow that place out. And then just, 10 days later or so?
Yeah,
Let's
road
all go
trip.
up to Fort Worth and do the same
Road
thing there.
trip.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to that game. We don't know yet. I think we've mentioned this before, if we're going to be doing the broadcast for that game or not, because they have their own broadcast team and that hasn't been decided. But even if we're not doing the broadcast, like we're making that trip up there to see this game. And I know of at least 2 other fans that are going to be doing that as well. So the more that we can get to join
2
us for
other?
that, that would be at least
We need
a 2
like 202
yeah,
more
we need
people.
more. So yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Let's get that together as well. We can discuss that in the fan page, or if you want to do that on the Smokin Gunz Facebook page, we can definitely kind of get a group together and maybe make travel arrangements together or something like that. It'd be great. Hangout place before the game. So yeah.
I get it that we didn't have anybody travel out to. Well, we didn't have a ton of people. There were some people there that were Gunslingers fans in Hattiesburg.
Yeah.
They sat right down in front of us. I think they were with Boss Hogg. I think it was Boss Hogg's family,
okay.
which is kind of funny that he's playing out there. I'm not sure. But there were some Gunslingers folks there. But I understand. Like, Hattiesburg, Mississippi is 9.5 hours away. I get it. Fort Worth is not.
That's true.
Fort Worth
And I'm
is
sure you
only
have
about
some-
4.5, 5 hours,
Yep. And
depending on how you drive and what 35 does to you.
And you have family there, so just stay with them. You don't have to get a hotel. They're all reading quietly.
Yeah, I'm just reading.
You're talking the attendance numbers and
Yeah.
comparing to what the Talons had compared to what the Gunslingers have done so far. So
Well, and I'm looking around not just at the American Arena League, but also some CIF games I've watched.
Yes.
And even, really until you get up into like IFL, they're bringing in huge, big crowds as far as, but we are, no surprise to me, San Antonio is supporting this team better than anything I've seen AAL wise so far.
yeah.
Now it's hard to tell
That's our
sometimes
history, though.
on the thing.
We've had some decent numbers, especially relative to other places, but I'm not necessarily sitting here patting ourselves on the back like, way to go, San Antonio fans, because I know it could be even better, like
That's
a lot
true.
better.
Right.
So we're
So
definitely
much better.
encouraging you guys to let everyone know. And then I know the team is encouraging this last game, especially with this promotion that they're doing. So we're really hoping to pack that palace. And that'd be great if we could get, 3,000 plus in there. for
That'd be
sure.
awesome.
That'd be incredible. It already gets like loud.
Yes.
With a couple of thousand. We get 3,000 in there. We get up to 4,000 at some point. It's going to be really, really loud.
I know I had reached out to Taylor to see if we could do like some kind of cheer thing with some of the moms, but she said it was a little bit too late. So,
Yeah.
but that would have been kind of
That's
cool.
Taylor with the 6 shooters, right?
Yes, the 6 shooters.
Yep. So,
But I'll go out there if they ask me.
well, there you go.
Yeah, no one's asked
There
me.
you go, 6 shooters.
No one's asked me.
All you got to do is ask RC, and she'll get out there and dance with you
Do
guys.
something. I'll do something.
Right? Mm-hmm. In the same way that we were going to play tonight.
Right.
RC is going to get out there and be part of the 6 shooters.
Then calls. Yeah, that's right. I'm there.
Why not? You were going to try out. You never did try out.
Well, because they had that stipulation about the 2-piece.
But you've seen why now.
But you know what? I bought a 2-piece, so there, boom.
Really?
Yes, I'm going to the coast next month, and I bought a 2-piece.
Here's
Well,
an idea.
There you go.
What's an idea?
Alba just said, how about at halftime with Sheriff Power? You can get out there. That's it. Yeah.
I share power?
Sheriff
With
Power.
Sheriff Power.
Sheriff Power.
You want me to be Sheriff Power?
No.
No. Dance with Sheriff
Dance
Power.
with
Oh,
Sheriff.
dance. Oh, I could do that. It's on.
Cut a rug.
Okay, I'll do that too.
Boot scoot with.
I can do that.
You do the boot scoot.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
Your husband may get jealous, though.
Nah,
Guy in a foam costume.
I don't think so. Jerry's gonna be like,
I don't know if anybody
Yeah.
didn't know that Sheriff Power is a foam costume. If you thought that was a real person, I'm sorry. I may have just ruined something for you.
Way to go,
he's
Phil.
a robot.
It's gonna be a great game. It's gonna be a great atmosphere because it always is. Like I can say that for sure because the games we've had out there have been incredible. Mm-hmm. They've been a blast.
Tailgating's great.
Tailgating's a lot of fun. Not a ton of people showing
Not a
up, but it's a
ton.
Monday afternoon. I
But the
get
ones
that.
who show up, man, they're ready to rock
They're
and roll.
having a good time,
Yes.
Hope to see Chris out there with Teardrop Pepper Company. That would be cool.
Oh, you know, I talked to him, but I think his wife is going to be out of town, so it's the whole baby
Well, she
issue.
was out of town last time he came out.
I know. Well, we'll see. I'll send another message.
Coach's Corner out there, and food and drinks from them. If you're part of Coach's
Beer.
Corner,
Yes.
and then
What
all
about the
of
turkey
little
legs?
groups.
Remember the first game they had those turkey legs?
What happened to
We
the
need
turkey
to bring
legs?
back the turkey legs.
Thanks for reminding us because Philip and I don't remember because we were up in that booth and didn't have any of those delicious
Hey, I
turkey
try to
legs
bring
we
y'all
hear.
some water.
We're so good.
And Dolores
Yes, thank you.
And Dolores is really good about that.
So Todd says, I wondered how RC stayed so calm after we won that miracle game versus North Texas. I was going nuts. He stayed so professional. Todd,
I did not stay calm.
Todd, your booth for the game is myself on play-by-play, and then Leo.
So maybe, he thinks I'm RC, but I'm Leo, and that's RC.
I'm RC. I'm
Yeah.
a female.
And Leo's really good at staying calm.
I am.
Leo is not one that will get.
I am not calm.
Like I'll get my blood pressure up over some things. I'll yell and scream. I'll do some of that kind of stuff. Leo is calm. Leo's a calm guy.
But I was excited.
It was an exciting moment.
Oh, yeah.
And then it wasn't.
Raise your hand, Leo. That's Leo. And that's Philip. And I'm RC.
Yeah.
I think everyone should know that by now.
Well,
Todd's new
Todd's
to this
just
group.
jumping in.
Oh,
I
I'm
don't think
sorry.
he's been around
okay,
much.
Okay, Todd. I'll give you a heart then. There's a heart.
But
Todd.
no, Leo did stay nice and calm. And then I think we talked about this last time on the show, but both of us started getting nervous as the conversation continued to go on with the refs about,
Yeah.
Is
is this really going to get overturned?
Yeah.
That would have been...
We try to stay professional on the broadcast, so it's not really professional. We get too crazy excited too, so I kind of try to temper that,
Yeah.
Although there are times where there's a play and it just comes out of me, I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm so not professional when I'm in the stands.
You're not?
Not at all.
We try. And we try.
Okay.
We don't always do it. I get that. There are some folks that have...
Called you out?
Yeah, that have called us
Really?
out and been like, oh, they're too biased to be doing the play-by-play.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
If that's what you feel like,
If that's the worst you can call us, then go ahead.
right? I make no secret about the fact that I do a podcast for the Gunslingers, and I'm a Gunslingers fan. But I am able to be professional and call a game without that.
I feel like we need Jonas on here.
We've
do.
had Jonas
We
in
do.
when we did our JC,
The one
our
at
JD's
JD's
game.
Yeah, Jonas
Oh,
was
we
there.
did.
We need to get him on another one.
The unsung hero
That's
of the
right. I love
broadcast. I'm telling you. Cuss up a storm, RC. Let people know we rock the place. I think he's talking about when we're at the game, not right now.
Yeah.
Don't cuss up a
Not,
storm.
not,
No, no,
not on the
not
show.
now.
We don't have an E next to our podcast. We want to keep it that way.
Oh,
at the
ask,
game,
ask
yes.
all the moms. I'm pretty loud out there.
So 3,000 people. Is
We could do
is
that.
that reasonable?
Of course it is.
You think
Yes.
that's possible?
Yes, it is. May 24th.
It would be
Summer's
nice,
around the
man.
corner. School's about to end. Come on.
Pack the palace and then turn around 2 weeks later or a week and a half, I think, later and 10 days later and go up to Fort Worth and just blow those people out in their home arena.
Ooh,
that
that'd
would
be
be so
great.
much fun.
It will be. I can't wait for
I'm excited.
that little 10-day period. It's going to be like, especially after this kind of like layoff of a few weeks
Yeah.
of nothing, then all of a sudden those, we're back. And then that big game, not to look past the Mississippi Raiders, because
No.
that's not a team to look past on, but I think our coaches and players know this and would never overlook someone. That Raiders team is a legit team that you're gonna have to be ready for to play.
Definitely be ready.
Let's be honest. If the Gunslingers look past the Raiders, which I don't think they're going to do, but if they were to look past the Raiders and somehow end up losing that game, that just deflates almost everything going into that North Texas game. It means far less
Yes.
because it's not an opportunity any longer to hold on to or to win the division. I'm assuming
Right.
North Texas is going to win out.
Right. Now, if there's
now
a wild
they could
card,
drop
Yeah.
one,
it'll still be in play, but yeah.
but it would just suck a lot of the fun out of that game.
Yes.
Just like that?
Yeah, just
was-
like
that
that.
was a good
almost
sound effect.
exactly like that. Yeah. So, and I know the coaches, I know our players, I know this group of guys is not going to be looking past Mississippi because
Every game counts.
it does, and Mississippi played them harder than. They haven't played an easy game. I don't think the Gunslingers have played an easy game this season.
No.
Everybody they've played has given them a game.
Right.
Yes.
From North Texas, both times. Mississippi getting that first win, which was huge.
Right.
And then Austin, both times. Like all of these games
Yes.
have been real games. Like,
Battles.
there
Yeah.
hasn't been the 68-12 game.
No.
Like,
No.
that we just haven't seen those.
Or a game that they stopped playing at the last 5 minutes either.
Right. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's Texas. Like we could have had one of those tonight, I guess.
We could
We
have.
didn't get that.
And they're big guys. Like I remember, like I'm used to seeing our guys because I've been with them since June, and I've seen them at practice with their pads, without their pads. But when I saw the Bulls that first game, I thought, oh my God, these guys are really big. Now I've kind of gotten used to it. But there's some really big players out there.
James Stoltz says we beat Mississippi 44-23 or something like that, and that score is close, although I can't verify that that's correct.
I think we doubled them up. So whatever
That's right.
it was,
We did. It was 46 to 23.
23, yes. Yeah.
So you're right. It was, but I watched that. I was there at that game. That did not feel indicative of the game, certainly in the first half of it. I think the second half we kind of took control.
Yeah, we did. We kind of pulled away after that. They lost their starting quarterback in that game. If you remember, he got hurt.
Right.
And we started
and that
to
was
pull away.
huge.
That's
that was
definitely
a big
the
thing.
closest game we've had to that 60 whatever to 21 game that we know this team has in them.
Right.
They do have it in them.
Seth Samigel says, "Can we talk about David Olvera, runner-up for league MVP?" I don't think that's why runner-up. Like, tell me who you've got ahead of him right now.
Ahead of David?
Yeah, like tell me in the league who you would have ahead of him.
The only person I can think of is Kent Jr.
Yeah, and I mean,
but they don't have the record that the Gunslingers
Right.
have at
True.
this point. So he would definitely be one of the leaders.
if it's the most valuable person on the best team in the league, I don't know enough about Charlotte, so let's just talk about the teams we know because I
Right.
don't know what the Charlotte Thunder are doing. But
Buccaneers 0. We're going to have to talk about that.
well, yeah, no, yeah. I don't know who
Wild?
else you would put ahead of David at this point.
Because who was the star at the Wild? Nobody, right? That really stood out.
I mean, they've got some good
They've
players
got-
and they've
but
got a good
MVP?
solid
got a lot
team.
of talent. Yeah.
But as far as an MVP candidate, I don't know
think
that
so.
there's one standout guy on their roster
at least
necessarily.
I can't think of one.
Robert Kidd Jr. is certainly a guy you would discuss, but if our record is better and the
Yeah.
MVP is the best player on, or the most valuable player on the best team, then
They would go to David.
I
Yeah,
think
he's-
you'd be hard pressed to
he's-
say it's not David.
Yeah, he's definitely in contention, if not the front runner at this point. Not considering outside of the division because we don't know what we don't know about Charlotte. Todd just
Right.
said
True.
the Charlotte QB would be considered, but he has all stars all around him. That team is stacked,
Right.
apparently. So, I mean,
They
there's an
certainly
argument
put up
for David
scores
for
like
sure.
they are, yeah.
Yes.
Carl was the QB. Carl was great, but he played their first two games against us. I think he's talking about Austin's quarterback, Carl Robinson,
Yes.
who did well, but he did not play yesterday in Austin. He
he
was
didn't?
not the starting quarterback.
Oh.
It was somebody different, and I'm not looking at the roster right now, so I don't remember who it was, but it was their backup, was the starter in North Texas.
Yeah, Carl Robinson, definitely a skilled player, kind of a dual threat kind of guy. Keyed in a bit on his primary receiver a little
He
too
did.
much.
He had a tendency to
Yes.
really look at one guy. We caught that up in the booth. I know that James and his defense probably grabbed onto that too, because Carl did have a tendency to lock in on one guy from the snap of the ball.
but he
but-
just didn't have the time.
But
Well,
MVP
so
wise,
credit the
certainly in
defense.
I think your 1 and 1A right now have to be a conversation between David and Robert Kent Jr.
Yeah, so maybe that's another thing that will be decided by that game.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I mean,
never know.
maybe so. And we have great players, but the great players that we have at other positions share the load, whereas David
True.
is the guy. David is the quarterback, and if he doesn't perform, there's
There's only so much the other players can do.
Nico can have a great game, and then Joey Fisher can have a great game the next week, and whoever you defend against, we've talked about this on the show before, whoever you decide to double team or defend against, there's another guy right beside him.
Yep.
It's just as dangerous. Same thing on our defense. You got Pierre and Cody,
Oh, yeah.
and
Beasts.
then Jonathan Taylor and those guys on the offensive line, defensive line. But again, anyone you decide, hey, we're gonna stop this guy. This guy's not gonna get to our quarterback. Okay,
Yeah.
but you can't do that with four guys.
That's true.
You can't
Right.
double team four guys. You only have 8 players. So, I don't see how you could not make a case for David. I mean, David has been the guy that has led this team to a 4-1 record, 5-1 record.
5-1 now. Yes.
Yeah, we're going to call it 5-1.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it 5-1.
Cinco en uno. All right.
I'm just saying.
That's cool.
I'm just giving you a hard time, Philip.
All right. Hey, why not? Todd Vince says Kent was an MVP for the Revolution. but it was not a year they won the title. That was the year after. Remember, Robert Kent Jr. has been around this. He's been doing this a long time.
Yeah, he's got some accolades already.
Yeah, he's won some championships. He's won some MVPs. He's been playing football for 17 years, professional football for 17 years.
How many rings does he have?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
And here's David Oveda, just something that's kind of awesome. First year pro quarterback.
Right.
Didn't go to college, played high school. We talked to him. He talked about it on the show.
Yep.
Played high school and then went straight to like
Medina
semi-pro.
Valley.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And here he is in the same conversation as a guy with a resume like Robert Kent Jr. So that's pretty
impressive.
Impressive, yes.
Well, and he's bought in on the Gunslingers. I remember the conversation we had with him and Nate when we had both quarterbacks in, and we said, "Where do you see yourself in a few years?" And Nate Mace said, on to the next thing, bigger and better.
Right.
And that's who Nate Mace is.
He is.
And I'm not going to take that away from him. He's got goals.
True.
Great. But David's goal, I remember, was I want to be the starting quarterback for the Gunslingers.
Yeah.
In 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, he said, right here, roll it back.
So yeah, he's going to get better, and he's going to get better as a gunslinger. Although, if he gets a whole lot better,
You mean not stay?
He might get some offers.
He starts getting some offers to go into the bigger areas. Who knows?
Yeah, we've talked. I think that's something that, speaking of those, someone posted on Facebook recently from the team saying, be sure to come out to that last game because it may be your last opportunity to see some of these guys together.
True.
Because a lot of these guys are going to go and try their hand in like the CFL and some other higher leagues. So there's guys with levels of talent here that they are going to move on to
That's true.
better or bigger opportunities, and more power to them. And once a gunslinger, always a gunslinger. We will remain fans of those guys.
For sure. We'll follow them just like we did the Commanders. Like, look at Cheeto, know?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There is no doubt in my mind. In fact, I know that packages of highlights are already being sent out to, requested and sent out to leagues above the American Arena League for some of our players.
Awesome. That's what we want to hear.
That's happening.
Yeah.
Like I know for a fact that's happening. Fred Jimenez, if the Gunslingers can move up, what indoor league would you like to see them in? Fred, I don't even want to really entertain that conversation, and here's why. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what league they're in. I'm gonna be sold out on what the Gunslingers are doing, and so I'm gonna let ownership make that decision. And if we're the American Arena League next year, then we'll rec shop there. And if we're not, if we move into another league or we're independent or whatever that looks like, because there's lots of options for them, then I'm still going to be a Gunslinger fan.
Yeah.
And we'll still be here doing the podcast.
I don't really want to entertain that discussion because it doesn't really matter where they end up. I would assume that they'll be in the American Arena League next year. So, that's the best I could tell you.
Right.
Right.
We know what you know.
Yeah. That's my assumption is that we'll still be in the American Arena League next year. And if we're not, then I'm following the team, not the league necessarily.
True. And we want you to follow us. Oh, either way.
Right. For sure. So pack the Palace on the 24th.
Yep.
And then on the 5th, let's all head out to
road trip.
Fort Worth.
Let's head out to Fort Worth. Go see their inflatable barriers that Leo's such a big fan of.
Yeah, I can't wait to see those in person.
And yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. That's gonna be a huge game.
Do they tailgate?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Right? We need to find that out. Who can we call?
Yeah, we need to find out. Tyrone's probably not watching right now, but I can reach out to him.
He should be, Tyrone.
But we need to find out if they do tailgating out in Fort Worth.
We need to know that.
Yeah.
so we can show them how it's
really done.
Then we have there's lots of questions out there about how the playoffs are going to work.
Yeah.
I have the same questions.
Yeah, we're wondering the same.
And we don't have the answers.
We don't. I think we mentioned this. I don't remember what we've talked about on and off Facebook Live right now, but my expectation, and this is Philip's expectation, it is not based in any sort of reality.
Okay.
I reject your reality. I substitute my own. It's not based in any sort of reality. This is just what I expect to happen.
In his world.
In the matrix of Philip's head.
There are 4 playoff spots, we've been told.
Yes.
I would assume that is 3 division winners and 1 wild card, which would be the best record in the league that is not a division winner.
That's what would make the most sense because there's 3 divisions. Yeah.
That is, in Philip's mind, that's how they should determine the playoffs.
Yep.
I am assuming that the Western Division, that these 2 teams, North Texas and San Antonio, will both make the playoffs if they do what we think they'll do, which is win out, and then somebody's got to take a loss there on the 5th.
Right.
Well, one team has to take a loss, and that team would be the wild card team, and the other team would be the division winner.
Right. Then who plays who after that is what we don't know.
Yeah.
I can tell you this much. Neither one of those other 2 teams will want to play either North Texas or San Antonio.
I mean, Charlotte Thunder, the numbers they've been putting up, I haven't been able to watch much football of what they've done, but I don't think they're scared of anybody.
I'm not saying they're going to be scared, but I'm saying they'd rather play that other team first.
Someone that we know.
Right.
I mean, you know.
Todd Min says Indy or Tampa are the competition for the wild card right now. Maybe. I just think if both of these teams win out and then somebody takes that loss, you've got 1, 2 loss team. And the other thing that I see from my perspective is that becomes really easy for the league itself to say, you 2 play 1 playoff game somewhere there in Texas and then send 1 team to travel to play the final championship game. And that makes much more sense. So you have your Midwest and your Eastern Division people play each other. And then you have the 2 teams from Texas. And then, travel becomes easy because all of these teams have to factor all of that in. Like, you don't want to travel to the East Coast twice.
No.
You don't want to have to go play Tampa and then turn around and go play Charlotte from Texas. Like, that's rough. So I really believe in my heart of hearts, and again, this is Philip's reality. This is not the reality.
Philip's
I think that North Texas and San Antonio are going to end up playing 4 games against each other this season, which I'm fine with.
Repeat that again?
Wow. 4 games.
Yeah, because we will have played 3 times in the regular season.
Okay, I see.
And then there will be a playoff game. I truly see that being the most reasonable thing to happen right now.
Talk about taking it up a notch. I don't know how many notches we can take up. We can go higher than this last game.
I know.
And you know what? I think the fact that we lost that first game might actually be okay.
Yeah.
Like, nobody liked it at the time. We
No,
all
but
felt
who?
terrible at the time.
That's
we
true.
didn't want that. We didn't want to take a loss in our first game. We
Right.
didn't want to lose at all. 9-0 was the
Right.
big top.
Jason was 9-0, 9-0.
But it is so hard to sweep a team.
Oh, yeah.
In 3 or 4 games in the same season. Like, it's darn near impossible.
Right.
Right.
So we
to
got
do
the
that.
first loss out
So
of the
we
way.
lose once and we get that out of the way. That opens it up where it's like, okay,
We did it now.
we can win. So I'm okay now looking back. At the time I wasn't, but I'm okay now with that loss.
I'm okay with that loss because remember the field was horrible. I was like, oh, everything's up.
We don't talk about that.
I don't remember
RC.
anything about the field.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'll tell you the story. Coach Q's already left, so he can't tell us. Maybe James will know, or if one of the players are on, some of the ownership. I gave them an idea
you did.
for the North Texas game. Did I tell you guys about this? I think I told you about this offline, but I don't think we've talked about it during the show.
Keep going.
For the North Texas game that was just 2 weeks ago,
Yes.
that old blue monster
Oh,
of
yes.
a turf is out behind the Rose Palace.
Okay.
And so I sent a message to Coach Q, and I said, you know what I would do is I would cut swatches of that field for every player, 22 of those swatches.
Okay.
And just before the game, I would hand them out to everybody and say, this is what North Texas thinks of you. This is who they played last time. This is what they ran up against last time, and they think they're coming out and they're going to play the same team that they played last time. Mm-hmm. This blue turf is what they think you are. If you're better than that, tonight's the night you have to go out and prove that. And Coach said he was going to cut some swatches. I don't know if
That
he
seems
did.
like a lot of work to me.
It's motivation.
This is Q&O we're talking about.
All right.
Work doesn't scare him.
Think of other ideas you can do with that blue monster.
Lanny Boogie says there's no structural procedures as yet for playoffs.
Yeah, hasn't been. It's still being worked out by the league, is what I understand.
Yeah.
We're making assumptions right
This
now.
is-
Like I
Philip's
said,
world.
this is
Philip's
Philip's
world.
reality.
Yes.
This is how I would do it if I were the commissioner of the league.
And Philip never has a bad idea, guys.
And this
Ever.
reminds,
me.
this reminds
Just
me of Dr.
ask him.
Strange.
Philip has never had a bad idea. So that is the way that I think it should go.
All right.
And then if that's the case, gosh, that fourth game. And where would it be?
Yeah.
Like, do you have it in a neutral site?
You'd have to.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be tough, like where you have that at, but a neutral site, I think, would be the best way to go. But what neutral site would
In the wilds.
you consider then?
I mean, between here and
Austin, somewhere in the Austin area, obviously, would be the
Austin,
most.
maybe Waco.
That's what I said,
Yeah.
in the Austin area.
Waco would be a possibility.
Look at that. Michael Wayne Davis says, sell some of those swatches you're talking, pieces of the turf to the fans. He'd be interested in buying a piece of that original turf.
That's funny, see?
There you go.
That could be our fundraiser.
We've got some Gunslingers ownership on the show
Yeah.
right now. There's an interesting idea for you guys.
You don't have to
Do
sell it for
something.
much, but it was the original field. It was the first field.
That would be history.
That's a good.
Iconic.
That's an idea, Michael. Like maybe, I kind of want a piece now.
Lenny Boogie jumps in with an interesting idea. He says,
I'm here.
why not meet halfway? And I think he means between all of the teams in the AAL and set up a bubble for a couple of weeks and do your playoffs that way.
But that'd be nice.
So you set up a bubble in, like he says, Mississippi, which would be, about centrally located folks from Texas and folks from the East Coast kind of meet in Mississippi, which
How about
means
New
you can't
Orleans?
live stream the game.
That's the bad thing about you won't be able to live stream the game there
You
though.
sure as heck can live stream the game
I
from
say we
Mississippi.
go to New Orleans. That's a fun place.
You got to find a place to play.
Minor detail.
And
Let's just meet in New Orleans.
and have a playoff bubble. That's a great idea.
I like the bubble idea.
Cost would be high because you got to house players for a couple of weeks. That'd be kind of rough. Make sure it's sanitized first. There's you an idea though, Gunslingers ownership. Let's sell pieces of that turf for people to
You know what I'm thinking?
I like
proudly display in their home.
I like it. There you go, Michael. That's a great idea.
I know we have some downtime, and I know we really haven't done any community service. Maybe we can ask for some suggestions of maybe a community service project that we could do.
It has been a while since we've
Yeah, we've collected blankets. We've collected cans.
Yep, fans.
Right, fans too. Cans of
Fans, too.
fans. So I wonder what something else we could do. I mean, we
Did
have
she
2
say-
weeks.
Did she just say cans of fans?
I
Okay.
said cans and fans.
And
Okay.
fans, yeah.
All right.
Well, we're getting into the
Oh my-
spring, getting into the summer months again. A fan drive might be in order again, something like that.
Something
For
like that. That was
sure.
fun.
Both of my fans are already running in my bedroom right now.
Although right now we might need umbrellas more than anything else with all
Jeez,
this
yeah.
rain that we're getting. Doing an
Or
umbrella
you know what?
drive
We
for-
can have something at JD's, and then they bring a fan there. So if you don't want to
Maybe.
drink, but you want to do some community service, you can bring a fan.
Maybe.
You know,
Yeah,
I
maybe
feel
we
like
can
we
talk
kind of
about
need to
that.
do something about
We'll
that.
put something out there. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
We'll take
off the
suggestions too. If you
Yeah,
guys
if you've
know,
got ideas, let us know.
Yeah.
Things that we can do, ways we can get involved.
give back to the community.
So we need to keep everybody engaged. We've got 2 more weeks, and it already feels like it's been a long time since that North Texas game because
Yes.
it has been. It's been 2 weeks. We've still got 2 weeks to go. We got to stay engaged, and we got to pack the palace on the 24th, right? Mm-hmm. Fred Jimenez, have the Gunslingers
Now,
painted.
how do you say his last name?
Jimenez?
Jimenez.
Whatever.
I had to look at Leo like, come on.
Have the Gunslingers painted the new field? No need to, right?
That's fine the way it is.
But it does
It's
have the
doable.
old team's logo on there.
It does have the
minor
Quad City
details.
Steamrollers.
And I think that's what he's referring to. Not that hasn't been done yet, Fred. I think there's a lot of things right now going on for the team, things that they're trying to do for, I'm talking about ownership, as we do this playoff push. And I would say that that's one of the things that's been on their list, but it's probably a little bit down the list. I don't think it's near the top.
For sure.
I was
right
going
now,
to say
at
they don't
this
have
point.
the time, but that would kind of be funny because they really do have the time.
And Seth San Miguel says, did I say that one right, RC?
Oh, no.
How about start designing the ring that David Olvera will bring to the San Antonio Gunslingers? There's still work to do.
Yeah.
There's still work to do. Like I'm
Hopefully it comes to that. Yes.
I'm a big believer in this team and what they can do.
And does the podcast get a ring?
Love his confidence.
I have
though,
no
on
idea.
that.
Yeah, I do like his confidence, but 1-0 is always my thing. Is let's be 1-0 this week, and so we've still got 2 weeks before this week comes. But let's concentrate on being 1-0 against the Mississippi Raiders on the 24th. We can talk on the podcast and amongst fans about playoff pictures and playoff scenarios and all that kind of stuff. I want this team concentrating on being 1-0 every
Each
week,
game, yeah.
each game. That's the way things should be, right?
Mm-hmm, for sure.
So we're gonna wrap things up.
That was quick.
That was fast. So we got a game coming up on the 24th. It's
Yep.
got to get here faster.
Yes.
I'm ready. I'm ready right now.
Watching the clock. Come on, move.
But we can't talk all the way until the 24th. But we'll be back before then. But we're not going to talk then carry this episode on all the way to the 24th. We're going to wrap things up right there. So all that remains is for us to tell you that the Smokin Gunz podcast is brought to you by
Texas Sports LMT. That's licensed massage therapist. So they specialize in sports massage, sports stretch, Swedish and deep tissue massage. Texas Sports LMT has been in business 8 years and was nominated Best of San Antonio 3 years in a row. Laura worked alongside the San Antonio Commanders, making sure they were game day ready at all times. And she also worked and provided sports stretch to numerous players from the NFL and the NFL Combine. Sports stretch is structured to be performed on athletes of any size or any stature, and it's safe for just about anyone who is looking to gain flexibility in order to perform on the field, in the gym, or just in everyday activities. Give Laura, the Texas Sports LMT, a call to set up an appointment today. You can reach her at 210-459-0176. That's 210-459-0176. Ask for Laura. It's not how you train, it's how you recover.
Smokin Gunz podcast is also brought to you by our amazing, our wonderful, our magnanimous and incredible patrons, Iris and Mo Ferrante,
Yes.
Herman Robles Jr., Alba Nava, Greg and Kim Nelson, Humphrey Hernandez, Adriana Garcia, and our buddy Warren Hubert. All those folks do
Great people.
an amazing thing
Yes.
by helping us make this show go month after month, giving us an opportunity to continue to cover the Gunslingers and continue to make our show go.
Yeah, thank you all so much. It really helps a lot.
If you want to be part of that team, go to patreon.com and subscribe /SmokinGunzPod and subscribe and help us make this show go. Well, that's it. We've got lots. That was a lot more to cover than I really thought we had.
We didn't have any
We
idea.
thought this was
that
going to be a
yeah.
short show because there's not much to talk about. There's a ton to talk
There
about,
was.
apparently. And we've had a good time, and we enjoy talking about our players. We enjoyed talking with Jonathan, spending some time with him and getting an idea of what happened at the tryout. We enjoyed talking about David.
Yep.
Even though people think I hate him. It's not true.
No, guys.
It's really not. But it is what it is. We've got good things. Like there's nothing but good things happening around the Gunslingers.
Right.
5-1. We're in the driver's seat for a playoff position.
Yes, sir.
And we've got a huge game coming up against Mississippi.
Yep.
And then we've got a huger. Is that a word? I'm going to say
Sure, huger.
We got a huger game coming up just 10 days later, about 10 days later at Fort Worth.
Yeah.
In Fort Worth. Just going to be incredible. When it comes to football in San Antonio, when it comes to football in Texas, you know what? When it comes to football in the American Arena League,
Yes.
all the way through the league, from the East Coast all the way out to West Texas, where teams are all slated. There's nobody out west of West Texas as far as I know.
Nope, but there's people wester of West Texas.
Wester?
We'll make that word
Future
too.
Wester, we're doing really well.
There's people that do listen and pay attention. So
Yeah, all the way out in Los Angeles,
Yes.
apparently. But we've got a message here in San Antonio for anybody in the AAL. That includes the West Texas Buccaneers out there on the oceans of El Paso.
Yep.
That includes the North Texas Bulls.
The enemy.
Enjoying their time and their win over Austin just a couple of days ago, or last night, I guess.
Yeah.
That includes the Austin Wild, who have come in twice to the San Antonio Rose Palace and valiantly put up an effort, but left with loss both times.
Yep.
But that even includes places like Tampa,
Sure.
Charlotte,
Absolutely.
Chicago, Indianapolis. We got a message for all of those places.
Yep.
And that is, when it comes to Arena League football, when it comes to American Arena League football, the 210 has got something to say.
Bang, bang.
My ears hurt.